Randall, I think your work is such a great example of science keeping people safe, whether it's people driving to the mountains or skiers or people just playing in the snow. But could you tell us, have you personally seen the results of climate change?
Yeah, I would, in a nutshell, I would say that most of the climate change questions are relatively simple, and the answers I think are relatively complex. Um, the short answer is, I would say that one of the most dramatic thing we've seen up on Donner Summit is have seen an ever increasing percentage of our winter precipitation fall as liquid, as rain versus snow. If you look historically across the precipitation record from Donner Summit, which goes back to the 1870s, by the way, because the railroad was punched through in the 1860s, there's been a full-time human presence on Donner Summit because of the railroad since the 1870s, and there's precipitation records starting in 1871. And using a lot of semi-fancy mathematical tricks, et cetera, the bottom line is the precipitation on Donner Summit really hasn't changed that much. It hasn't gotten noticeably wetter or noticeably drier, but we are seeing a greater percentage of the precipitation, which is predominantly falls in the winter up there, as rain. So that's changing as opposed to snow. So if you look at the average snow line, which is the elevation above which most of the precipitation falls as snow, and below which falls as rain, that snow line has been marching up the hill, marching up the Sierra Nevada. And that has a lot of important consequences for kind of the whole hydrologic picture for California, since we get very little precipitation in the summer. We're really relying on the melting winter snowpacks. And if we raise the average snow line elevation, we end up covering a lot less of the terrain with snow. So we have less snow covered terrain. So we obviously have less snow delivered in the spring, the melt season. And we're also, the potential is open for a much more higher frequency of midwinter floods when we get rainstorms at high elevation that never used to do that. So that's one thing we have seen. And there are similar observations from other parts of the world, but that's something that is going on as we speak.